What's going on, guys? Kaiger here. Do you want more simulated holy banners? What about a stage where you can show off your DIY costume? Today I'm going to walk through a bunch of the suggestions over on the official Discord as well as on my Discord to talk about what I feel about them and see what you guys think. Let's get into it. Alright guys, starting over on my Discord, this is my suggestions channel, suggestions and feedback, where a lot of people put suggestions, feedback, and bugs for the game, and then I send them in. Most recent one right here from Jasmine, Fantasy Beast Floor 3, issue with the follow button not working correctly, but if the leader toggles it on and off, then it works just fine. As the suggestion, make the Fantasy Beast less grindy. Make it easier to kill the bosses and increase the rewards for other monsters. Keys and XP should be half of boss. I agree. I think this would make it a lot better, and I would like to see that in the future. I had a big back and forth with Chiwu here about prices in the game for different currencies. So I would say what a price is for a pack, and they would be different for some other currencies. And what's interesting here is Chiwu was saying that there was some differences with the euro costing more. I know the Canadian dollar also things cost a little bit more. I don't know much about the laws and stuff behind it, but they said it was cheaper on the website versus doing it in the game, which that is true. They don't, Google or Apple and stuff isn't hitting the, they take a cut as well, which is why it's a little bit more expensive. And if they don't get a cut, then you get a more regular rate, where that's where Aptoide, which I have the link and stuff down below, that's why it's generally better to do it through stuff like that. Even talking with them about the price differences and whatnot, you would be getting a lot better price through something like Aptoide or Amazon coins, things like this. Recovering account. Anytime I see someone say, oh, I'm trying to help a friend recover their account, they didn't bind their art games, they forgot their password, all this stuff, I think either someone bought or sold an account, or someone's trying to fish an account. And I'm sorry. You can talk to customer service and see if they can help you, but this automatically screams sketchy to me. The game numbers to have commas so it's easier to tell what's going on, like 1,000, 1,000,000, things like that. A substat filter for wills and generations, I would like that as well. Training post, this he was having an issue. He's the only one I've heard have this issue, where he can put his IOs for sale, except for this one particular inscription 2. So I told him to talk to customer service, obviously. They would like us to have these banners. This was from S server, but we've also had this over on global and such, where you're guaranteed the fairy at the stage 6, and it's generally, I think, 15 summons worth of seeds to get the whole thing, and then you're guaranteed the fairy at the end. They want this for the seasonal fairy. I think that would be something nice. I still think that it should be like we had the Lotus event. You do these quests. Maybe it takes you 2 to 3 days. and at the end of the event you get 1 copy of the fairy for the seasonal event. I think you're not going to catch up to someone who has a Rainbow 3-1 anyways. Just allowing you to get all the event stuff makes sense. You're here, you've been around, you should get the fairy. I think that should also be the case for collaborations, but that would be harder because there's some requirements about it. This suggestion to let us wear wings and tails at the same time, I don't personally care about that, but if you do, that is a decent suggestion. This was back when the Urza passive wasn't working. It's now working again. Kind of blur on the words. Suggest the following different emotes and costumes and more male fairies. This is a big one. All the other ones are pretty old, and I've talked about them before. Go ahead and post on my Discord and the suggestions channel if you have more suggestions. But here's a big one. Holy simulations are rare now. Bring them back. I think they put themselves in a corner with this. If you've been around for Global for a while, you know that we've had simulations for Holy. It was like every 2 weeks. At one point, I think it was like 1 month where it was every 2 weeks. But they've been getting spread out more and more. I think they realized we're kind of saving a lot of seeds on banners like this. Because right now, we have a selection banner every week. And I keep telling people, hey, these are kind of bad way for simulation. And that's kind of what the business model is around. And they realize they kind of messed up and we're getting it less and less. They should bring it back more. Simulations are the best, especially for a particular element. It's always the best for a Holy. Really the only 2 banners you should be pulling on is a new seasonal fairy and simulated banners. Costume contest, this is what I talked about in the intro. Online people votes on their favorite costume, get a title, a stage so you can walk out and show it. If you're familiar with World of Warcraft, this was a big thing, transmogs. And I think what would be interesting is we already have kind of the rating thing in the game right now where you look at people from your region. I think it'll be interesting as obviously mix it, have all global, but also allow you to show off if you have a particular weapon skin and or a particular mount skin you want to use. A particular mount you want to use. I think that would add a whole lot to these transmogs, and they would be costumes, and they would be a little bit better in my opinion. Reduce the cost of godstones for beast evolutions. I agree. That is one of the main things holding you back. You can actually over time get all the red skills. I'm only really getting lava myself for the dragon, but over time you will get the red stuff, the red books and whatnot. But the godstones, there's no real way to get it besides getting 2 a day for Kabbalah crystals and getting lucky in the gacha. You do get 2 summons a day for free plus whatever you get from your creature balls, but this sucks. Up to like a 10x, I think, because like the lowest is 150, 225. Yeah, I think 8 to 10 summons a day for free, but that's still, like, it feels better than our regular gacha. But matchmaking system for top league, unfair, higher CP. Here's the thing: if you're not fighting someone with higher CP, then someone's fighting a higher CP, which is you, right? This is, I don't know the right way to do this. I really don't. Level is the closest thing. Making it salvation power might be good. Doing it by CP doesn't really work because people can finick around with their CP, changing their fairy teams and whatnot. This is just a really tough thing that's always going to be an issue. trading available, give people fairies and stuff. I think this is a terrible idea, because this adds a lot of like a bot market where you have 4 or 5 accounts, you go through, you farm up stuff, and then you sell them through your different accounts. This is a big deal in different games like World of Warcraft, where we have gold selling, where people literally make a living selling gold in the game. I beg. We're getting a lot of people not liking the Crystal Battlefield Cross server, and it depends on the age of it. I think anything, it's tough because especially different regions do it differently. I know on SA, it's generally every 3 to 4 days there's a new server. On NA, it's about once a week there's a new server. So it's kind of hard to have the same rules for all of them. But they're worried, it looks like, primarily about the CP, which is based on the level, but also the re-entry. Because if everyone goes in with the early part of the day, you only get 2 entries. There's no one to do the late matches. So their cross servers having a really hard time. I feel for them. The whole kind of charging people to go in for this is annoying to me. But as far as making it CP based or whatnot, I think that wouldn't really work. I think Crystal Battlefield is just something the game doesn't care about anymore, unfortunately. Hopefully, Legion War does well, and that can kind of take over for Crystal Battlefield. By Guild Wars, this is only something that is an issue for high-end guilds, but it is an issue. So what's happening right now is if your guild gets a buy, then you can't get points. So you can be the top guild, but because you got unlucky with your matches, just maybe you would have beat everyone in the server, but if you just get too many buys, you literally can't compete because you don't have enough points. There's also some cheesing going on, has been going on for forever, where you win when you hit the number point, but you can actually go over the number point. One of the biggest amounts of points you can get in Guild War is getting the boss. So what a lot of people are doing is they're playing it out, they're getting the first guild boss, they're collecting crystals all the way till we're only a couple points away from winning the second guild boss, which puts us a couple hundred points above it, which means people who aren't doing this strategy over the week are going to be in second place even though they've stomped all of their matches, which is unfortunate but is an issue. And they do bring up a point that if you have the Guild War inscription, you can't really level it up if there's no Guild War. They also bring up the issue of they've had a merge. It doesn't make sense if they're not matching. Remember that guilds are in different rankings. King, blah, 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 just like Burning Soul Battle, and you only match against ones in your ranking. So if your guild is up at the top and there's only 3 guilds, someone's always going to have a bye, and then everyone else is in the second tier and they're going to fight each other. It's a weird system, but I would like to see some fixes with several of the issues here. Translation limit, we've talked about this before. They've answered it over here in questions answered. But they said there's an issue with the API that they use, that they can only do a certain amount. Ninja skills, lock, IO, recharge. But they said there's an issue with it, and they're looking for a new API in the future, and it just hasn't been found yet. Let me know if you guys liked this kind of video. If you had particular ones you want me to check out, ping me somewhere so I know, and I can maybe do this weekly or whatnot. But let me know what you guys think about my opinions, and let me know your opinions